Spring in full swing just east of the Rockies, high above Infinity Park. And after a week off, American Raptors return to Glendale, rested and more than ready for the visit of LA Rising Stars. Hey everybody, great to have you along once again for American Raptors Rugby alongside former U.S. Women's National Team head coach Pete Steinberg. I'm Christian Miles. Pete, these two clubs know each other quite well, but it's American Raptors looking for a little revenge.
Yeah, this is a great test for the American Raptors. They fell to the LA Rising Stars earlier on in the season. So the question is, how much have the Raptors been able to improve this crossover, unique program? You would expect them to be able to really get so much better from that earlier season loss.
All right, let's take a look at the way things have gone. The American Raptors results are presented by Gilbert, the official rugby equipment supplier of the American Raptors. We look at spring here, Pete, 5-2, but one of those two defeat two LA Giltini's Academy, LA Rising Stars at the Coliseum back in early April. What do you make of it so far?
Well, I mean, I think it's the competitiveness of all of these games that I think is important for the Raptors' development. You've got to put these elite athletes in a position where they have to perform at their best, and today is one of those games.
Well, speaking of being at their best, quite a bounce back for them. And in fact, the last time we saw them was back here in early May, 101-12, and a club record set by American Raptors. LA Rising Stars come in, of course, part of the LA Giltini's setup, and a lot of players with a pretty good pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting mix of experience and young youth that's developing. Lots of great rugby in Southern California. You can see a lot of great names in that LA Rising Stars roster.
And here come the American Raptors in their home blues. And Rudy, the Raptor, coming out to a very welcoming partisan home crowd today. And Line Latu wearing the captain's armband today. Of course, Max Dacey, the usual captain, unable to go with injury. So an experiment in a leadership role for Line Latu, who is, of course, such a big part of the setup. In fact, the co-leading try scorer so far for American Raptors in this young spring 2022 campaign. And American Raptors trying to remain perfect at home. Let's take a look at the first 15 starters, which are brought to you by Guard Lab, revolutionary American-made mouth guards that perform, protect, and recover at guardlab.com. We look at the first 15. What stands out for you, beginning with LA Rising Stars?
Well, I think this is such an interesting mix of experience and youth. If you look, they've got two 19-year-olds in hooker Sammy McMillan and fly half Kahanu Koi, but balanced by Captain Washundell and Gerald Lowe in the back row.
Oh, you take a look at the way it sets up today for Pete Emmerich and his American Raptors. A few notable changes. Fina Feiwaki coming in the hooker role. Sana Polutele and Maaki Mutai with vice captain today up front.
Yeah, it's going to be in that upfront battle, and we talked about the back row strength of the Rising Stars, and I think Mikey Grande and Caleb Rep are going to have an amazing game to be able to balance out that experience.
This pool of players could be a new kind of specimen that you see on the rugby field.
We are built different.